Party's not a party's a man who fights crime, and we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time with John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minutes!
Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the show that critics claims turns listeners into trivia-spotting zombies, but we just shrug and say, that's what they said when Movies by Minutes podcasts were invented. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And I am your other host who causes riots when they're not on the air. Riots, I say, John Parker.
And once again, we're joined for the final time this week, but not for the final time in our hearts, by returning guests, Lal Gall and Claire York.
Hello.
Hello.
And of course, we're here today to talk about Minute 60. We're 1 hour in to Batman Forever.
Whoa. We've made it.
I genuinely feel like we started this season like 2 weeks ago. Like, it does not feel like we're an hour into the film.
Well, we've been on such a harsh, strict recording schedule. Yes, we did start it 2 weeks ago. We've recorded 60 in 2 weeks.
But yeah, Minute 60 begins with Dick Grayson, Jimmy in a door, trying to nosy in stuff that he shouldn't be nosing in on, and ends 1 minute later with brainwaves been sucked out a window, which is not a thing you see in a lot of films, to be honest with you. But
no.
That's what you can say for a lot of Batman Forever, quite frankly. The thing is, so we got, an introductory shot of Dick Grayson and his earring in all its glory.
It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing a very 90s attire, tight black t-shirt with a vest on top.
Boy band chic at its finest.
That's a very tight top, though. I mean, it's not Vin Diesel muscle top tight, but it's getting there.
It's ribbed, that vest, as well.
Oh, yeah.
Ribbed for hair pleasure. Sorry, couldn't resist.
It kind of reminds me of a slightly more casual version of Bennett from Commando in a weird way.
Oh, Neil Brown will love that one. I know he's a big fan of Bennett.
My favourite thing in Commando is the weird steel drum music all the time going do 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 do.
Look at Bennett's appropriate though, because there's such a random vibe of homoeroticism going on with him. And then throughout all of Batman Forever, there's just there's homoeroticism everywhere in this movie. It just shrieks from its very pores.
It is made by a gay man, though. You've got to remember that. So,
I like the way he just had the guts to go, I'm putting a bit of that in here. Yeah, we're going to just mess with Hollywood a little.
I have to say, this is one for the girls, isn't it, with him in that outfit. I definitely would have liked that scene with him just in the little tight t-shirt.
I don't know. I think it's one for...
anyone.
One for the guys.
I think the most baffling thing, though, Joel Schumacher has said, because people, said, obviously very homoerotic Batman movies. He's come out and said, if I wasn't a gay man, no one would bring that up. It's no more gay than any other Batman movie. And to that, Joel, I have to say, you're entitled to your opinion, but no. No other Batman movie has a close-up of the guy's ass. There's none of that.
Exactly.
No. Or nipple shot.
And we're not, obviously, our listeners know us. We're not saying that's a bad thing necessarily.
No.
We think it's cool. Joel, put your stamp on it.
Be proud of it. By all means. Claim again, I've made Batman hella gay. It's
Also, is it that he's not afraid to show a close-up of his ass rather than that, because all the, I'm being a manly man, I can't show that or something. It could be almost, he's freer.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's not macho to be proud of your ass, I guess.
Exactly.
But in a way it is, surely.
Be proud.
Yeah.
I will say, though, just my personal headcanon, again, though, is that... So Dick Grayson's trying to get into this, the forbidden closet of mystery. And Alfred comes swaggering down the steps with a newspaper tucked under his arm. And there's only one destination, someone with that kind of walk and a newspaper tucked under his arm. He's either coming from or going to doing a big, big poo in the toilet.
Well, maybe he doesn't want Dick to go in that room because he's just done a big
Yeah, he doesn't want to keep him out because it's the Batcave. It's like, oh no, because he's just on a
That's
giant
where the best
tear.
toilet is.
Like, oh, I wouldn't go in there without lighting a match, Master Grayson.
We were out of air fresh.
Oh God.
Oh, it'd be bat air freshener as well. Everything has to be bat branded.
But yeah, so like, of course, Dick's trying to get in. You know, it's the one locked door in the whole building. Apparently, we'll say at the base of the stairs, there's a bizarre bust of it seems to be some kind of like this big hairy demon-looking thing, I guess, holding a shield, which I guess is just like. I guess it's like some kind of allusion to Batman, like, you know, monster thing with a shield protecting the city and whatnot. And,
yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah, it's got
works enough. It's better than it being really on the nose and he's got a bloody statue of a bat.
Yeah.
Be too Dracula, that, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Dick asks, you know, what's in there? I do love Alfred's response of like, oh, Master Wayne's dead wives. The thing is, too, with Alfred, he could be serious. Like, he could be like...
Yeah, exactly.
Like a
it's brilliant, yeah, because it's like... It's scary and funny. It's like unsettling, but you would laugh at it.
And it is a reference that most people would get. The whole, like, Bluebeard's... What is it? Bluebeard's wives or something?
What? It's a reference?
Well, it is, isn't it? Because it's like the thing about the guy who... It's like a fairy tale, isn't it? He's got all his murdered wives. That's what Crimson Peak's based on.
What? Give me more information.
It's like the guy, and he's killed his wives, and he's got them, and he gets his new wife, and says you can go anywhere in the house, but don't go in this wing of the house. And that's what Crimson Peak's about. But it is an old fairy tale.
This is
Bluebeard.
This is definitely a reference, then.
I think I feel I have to do that if anyone's staying in my place. Like, if I have to, particularly now the house I'm in is quite big. There's like, you know, there's not that I'm like rich or anything. I'm sharing a house. With
yeah,
people.
you're showing off
quite
there.
a few rooms and stuff. But yeah, if it was just me in there, I would have to lock one door and be like, don't go in that room. Like, and then just not tell the person, just to see what happens, just to see how much they interrogate me about it.
We do know you have a Dybbuk in your closet anyway.
Yeah, you have a haunted closet. We know about it.
Yeah, that is true. Goddamn, can't get any sleep for that goddamn closet.
People think we're joking. I mean, it seems haunted. Yeah. Niall's not wrong. It seems haunted. But I think that Dick is a dick. I think he needs to be a bit more respectful of people's homes. Like, you are a guest in someone's house, and they're saying, please don't go in here. Respect it. He could have anything behind that door. That could be his private dungeon for adult activities.
Well, I think that's what Dick's hoping for. Like, he is like, something secret. I'm hoping it's some kind of kinky, weird shit going on back there.
Yeah. What kind of crazy stuff's behind here?
He must be really bored as well, because he does that stuff with the washing. Is that because he's bored out of his brain? He's not going to school or anything. He hasn't got a job because the circus has left. What has he got to do apart from look around this giant mansion?
True, and he is someone who's very action. He's very go, 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 isn't he? As a trapeze artist, he likes to be on the edge.
Exactly. He's just trying to get practice in.
Yeah.
I will say Alfred's excuse, I actually thought was more... Again, it's probably just me being very stupid, but the way he says, like, the silver closet on your way. I'm assuming that means he's saying to him, it's just a silver... Like, he's saying, it's a joke. It's a silver closet. Get out of here. But he doesn't... Again, that's not going to help anything, Alfred. But you're on your way. Like, that just makes it seem like I'm definitely hiding something there. Like,
yeah.
Not a chance in hell this is a silver closet.
It's more mysterious.
But there's also... I took it to mean, like, is Dick getting ready for dinner? And he's telling him, go to the silver closet. He's like, silver closet on your way. Like, it's Dick's job to lay the table or something? Or...
He's been living there 5 minutes. I think he shouldn't be doing the table yet.
Okay, well, maybe it was just me who was the only one who was confused by that. But
yeah, I assumed he was saying it's a silver closet because I ended up looking those up, and there is like a thing for having a little room with all your silver in, with temperature controlled and all that.
And Niall, do you want me to maybe spoil it if I'm remembering right? But I'm pretty sure in a minute coming up, spoiler alert, everybody, when Dick sneaks in and crashes into the shelving unit that's there, it's got silver on it.
Yeah, there is silver in that closet. Again, though, that's just like Of course, Bruce Wayne has a silver closet. If he's a guy whose butler has arm protectors for when he's doing the ironing, of course he has a silver closet.
I feel like you'd say, "What's a silver closet?" though, if you lived in a circus like your whole life.
Yeah, and you're a young kid. You'd be like, "What?"
You wouldn't just be like, "Oh, okay,"
Yeah.
But one thing I did look up though, in mentioning like, Master Wayne's dead wives. Which also, I actually really, I love that as an Alfred response, though. I kind of wish he didn't say the silver closet thing. I wish he just left it hanging with the thing. Because then that would stoke his, like, if he's got some kinky going on in there, now, if it's his dead wives in there, now I'm even more intrigued to find out what the hell's going on. But I did look into, has Bruce Wayne ever been married? And of course,
well, we know he has recently.
Yeah, well, of course, in the 80-odd years of comics he's been in, of course he's been married a bunch of times. Weirdly enough, all the hoopla behind Tom King is like, Catwoman and Batman getting married. It's like, they've been married before, dude. You ain't doing nothing new. But, so the people Batman has married in the past include, of course, Catwoman on several occasions, including very, very recently. He's also married Talia al Ghul, but he was unconscious at the time.
Does that count?
As well as I don't think it does, but Ra's al Ghul married him off to his daughter when he knocked him out one time.
Well, no, they see, now this goes back to wrestling in 98, 99, WWF Raw, right? Because Triple H is feuding with the corporation, Vince McMahon and his goons and whatnot. And to get to them, he kidnaps Vince's daughter, Stephanie, drugs her, and takes her to a drive-through chapel, and they get married. And the big twist is, well, in real life, this story actually did lead to them getting married because they fell in love. But the big twist is, at the end of the day, she's actually in on it and double-crossing her dad.
Oh, my God.
Wrestling did it first.
I love the way that you started that, John. It was as if you were like citing legal precedent.
Yeah, that is illegal, yes.
Can you marry someone when you're unconscious? Well, we all know in the case of Triple H versus...
And they are still married and they have children. Yes.
But yes, other people Bruce Wayne has married. Kathy Kane, of course, the original Batwoman. Although that turned out to be a nightmare that Robin had. Which is kind of ironic.
Wait, hang on. It was a nightmare Robin had, or it turned out to be a bloody nightmare?
The weird thing is, like, Kathy Kane, the original Batwoman, was brought in to the comics because they were like, this Batman-Robin thing, it's making them seem a bit gay, basically. It was the thinking.
Is that why they did it?
That's exactly, they brought her in. It's like, Batman, of course Batman's hetero. But then the fact that, like, Robin has a nightmare about him getting married to a woman, of course, that's going to backfire right on you right there. But
at the very least, Robin is after something then.
Yeah. But he's also been married to Wonder Woman at one point. Julie Madison, who we'll be talking about next season, because Julie Madison actually features in Batman and Robin.
Billy Madison.
Yeah, Natalia Trusevich. And Lara Wayne, who is the granddaughter of Superman. That's a very strange storyline, where both Batman and Superman were immortal, and Batman ended up shacking up with Superman's granddaughter.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So he really has been married a lot of times, though.
No, but it's revolutionary when he married Catwoman this time.
So this whole closet thing could be true. They could all be in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely trying to hang on to these women, isn't he? So, maybe.
Oh.
The most cruel of his marriages was he, twice in the comics, he's married Lois Lane. But weirdly enough, the first time...
Superman know?
The first time, it was Lois Lane wanted to marry Bruce Wayne because she thought that he was Superman. Superman and Batman both knew that, and they decided to essentially play a prank on her while making it seem like, oh yeah, Bruce Wayne's totally Superman. And apparently they were on the aisle, and then Superman showed up and was like, all right, okay, no.
Psych!
It's actually, no, he's not me at all and stuff. Back in
You've
the
been
1940s, I guess that would have been hilarious to just trick someone into that. But...
I mean, she obviously didn't know him very well if she mistook him for Bruce Wayne. Sorry, she mistook Bruce Wayne for Superman.
Well, but nobody knows who it is.
They're
It's a
different
mystery.
personalities, though, aren't they?
But it's all an act. It's a character.
He only puts some glasses on, though. He's not changing his face. Like...
No, his personality's totally different.
Hey,
as well.
Exactly.
No, have you seen that meme that speaks the truth where it's like, I used to think that Superman and Clark Kent, how could people not know? But I have recently seen pictures of Zooey Deschanel without her glasses on and no bangs, and I understand. It doesn't look a
not seen
thing
that
like her. It's bonkers.
But yeah, those are the previous wives of Bruce Wayne.
All in that closet.
All in the closet.
And the previous lives of the wives.
So
Rest in
then-
peace.
Yeah, then we go an insanely Dutch angle to the launch of Nygma Tech.
So
And-
damn Dutch.
Yeah, it just looks like the camera's falling over at this point. Like, that's crazy level. But yeah, of course, then we have Edward Nygma, announcing that the box will be in, countless homes in America and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
This gets into the confusing element where the Riddler has this orange flat top haircut, and yet now he's appeared looking like, with like a brown side comb that's way longer, and it's like, which hair is his hair? Is the Riddler thing a wig? Is this a
One
wig?
of them's a lace front, right?
It's gotta be.
I feel like a lot of time has passed, though, because to set up a business and get all those mass produced and everything and get premises, that takes time. So is it just they're not mentioning that it's been 6 months?
Maybe. And then when you see him again with the Annie Lennox hair, it's because he just was like, you know what? I really like that dude. I'm going to do that again.
Go back
Exactly.
for a fresh chop.
The Nygma Tech logo, isn't it just the same as the Batman Forever font?
Yeah.
That's so lazy.
It totally is. Look at it. It's even glowing like Batman does. And things.
I mean, yeah, they invented that font for the movie, so they're like, yeah, get our goddamn money worth out of it.
No, they invented that font for our podcast, and then they used it in the movie.
Of course, Claire, I thought you'd be quite excited to see that 27 seconds into this minute, you yourself are in the crowd.
I did notice that girl and was like, yeah, I appreciate that.
I love the thought that this woman in the crowd, I genuinely mean I love this, is clearly involved in some way in big business. She, even if it's just journalism, she's there to get the scoop.
Yeah, totally.
So they weren't being prejudiced about hair color and things, whoever her employers are.
Maybe she inspired him with his hair.
Oh, yeah.
Although in talking about multicolored hair and whatnot, the thing is, at this point, they're making a whole thing where Edward Nygma is still essentially trying to be Bruce Wayne. But weirdly enough, within let's see if I got it up here, the original Bachelor draft, their description of Edward Nygma, or Lyle Heckendorf, as he's called in that draft. Don't know if you guys know that. What your opinion of that is, that they changed Edward Nygma to Lyle Heckendorf for a draft.
Lol's just doing a face.
I think I might have been doing the same face.
Yeah, Lyle Heckendorf. I like it, but I also hate it. Does that make sense?
No.
It sounds quite German, doesn't
Edward
it?
Nygma's great.
No.
You know.
See, Edward Nygma is stupid and unrealistic, but
I really like it.
yeah, at least Lyle Heckendorf's just weird.
Edward Nygma is like a drag name, and he's very drag, so it fits more.
I feel that Lyle one would be one of the minions in it's Die Hard, sorry. I feel like it's one of those guys, one of the blonde guys from Die Hard. He's called Lyle, whatever.
Well, we did do a couple of weeks on Die Hard Minute, if anybody wants to check that out.
I don't think it's actually true, but I think one of them should be called that.
Yeah, it does-
You'll have
it
to
sounds
listen to
German.
find out.
But the one thing, though, is... Yeah, so within that draft, their description of Lyle in this scene is that Lyle is becoming quite the creature of fashion. Purple hair, brilliant reflective clothes, a little makeup, sort of like Karl Lagerfeld meets Elton John meets Ted Turner.
What?
And then it says,
my
in
God.
brackets, what a concept! Exclamation point.
Oh my god! I can't even imagine that. I'm trying to piece all that together in my head, and I
Yeah.
just can't.
And I don't see a character who's envious and jealous and trying to become and take down Bruce Wayne, becoming a huge guy in the industry, looking like that. We should be in a world where that's fine, but we're not.
Yeah, tragically not, no. But yeah, I think that because I as much as I would have liked to have seen that, I do appreciate that they were trying to do like a Well, yeah, he's literally trying to become Bruce Wayne at this point. So that's why he's got the same haircut, he's wearing the same kind of outfits and stuff, and that'll become more pronounced as the rest of the film, goes on. And stuff.
I suppose you could say he was trying to imitate Two-Face if he had looked like that, like he was going more down the Two-Face route instead for a little bit.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
One other thing, though, that I'll bring this up now that you're here, Claire, because you, of course, are supposed to be called like a rat mother, or someone who has previously owned rats as pets.
Yes, I've had many, many rats, yes.
One of the things, it's not in the Bachelor draft, but Joel Schumacher has mentioned in interviews that originally he was going to be called Lyle Heckendorf, and that he would have a pet rat called Sydney, who would stay on his shoulder. So the Riddler would be going around with a pet rat on his shoulder, basically, who he'd talk to and stuff.
I would have loved that.
That's the thing. I read that too.
Bring
I'm
back
like,
Lyle.
and that's the thing. It's like there's a whole the Lyle Heckendorf draft that I have. I think I must be like a third draft or something. The fact that Sydney the rat was next so early on in the process, it's like I would have loved to see the Riddler with a little pet rat and stuff. But
I feel like someone was channeling me here with the purpley hair. There's the cool clothes, and there's a rat on the shoulder. I mean, I'm there.
Would the rat have had like colourful hair as well? Do you think?
oh,
Give it a
definitely.
little mohawk with a little green tinge or something. Yes.
I think so. I could imagine, and maybe a colourful tail.
It seems the only thing is though, I think it is a very Tim Burton-y move. Like I imagine Tim Burton, he would have been all about having the Riddler having a pet rat and stuff. Like one of those things is like, he's a guy who turned the Penguin into a carnival freak and stuff. He's like, yeah, of course the Riddler has a pet rat in his shoulder. That makes total sense.
It would work. I think it would be pretty cool. It'd be different.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to maybe as a kind of allusion to Willard, because it's a whole movie from the 70s where the guy had like a kind of ostracized loner who had pet rats and stuff. But
what a
I love
reference.
that film. I love that film.
But would it be yet another negative portrayal of a rat if he's with the villain?
Yeah, probably would.
Still, as long as they've got a loving relationship, I'm okay with it.
Aw.
maybe they felt it would be too similar to the organ grinder from the previous movie. He had the monkey, so they're like, maybe we're retreading old ground there by having a animal sidekick.
I miss it though, because last movie, I just couldn't wait to eat that monkey.
But yeah, so the Nygma, of course, here talking about the box. They wants in every home in America and whatnot.
The box that's not a box.
Yeah,
It's very fitting to now when you think about Alexa and things, isn't it?
Oh crap! Yeah,
It's almost like I mean, obviously, there is argument that it could be mind controlling.
Well, we have two of them. Are our minds controlled?
No, they just help me to sleep most of the time.
Mm.
It's put a whole new spin on it for me. That's amazing.
It'd have to have like an E in it, like Nyglexa.
That just sounds like he neglects her.
That's what I heard as well. Like, whoa.
Don't neglect Alexa. She's a wonderful, wonderful helper. She's great.
Throw in VR gaming and all of that. It's very current in a lot of ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sort of resistance is futile. That kind of idea of
Are you suggesting he's a Borg?
the AI taking over the human. I've been watching too much David Icke on YouTube, but
The AI are taking over.
they will. They might be warned.
But yeah, I do love that when it cuts to the news coverage of what's happening, and then you get these shots of everyone's face as they're using the box. It's a joke and it works when a dog is watching the box with everybody.
I was going to say, I love
That's
the
the
dog.
I love. That's what when we were saying these are great minutes. The dog is so.
The
amazing.
dog.
It's just so great, isn't it? It's a
They should have
nice
had the
touch.
rat as well. Just the rat.
That's how much of a hit this thing is. Look, even a dog is using it. Couples
The
can
dog
use it
does look
together
around
as
a little
well.
bit more. The dog's not quite as impressed as everyone else. Everyone else is really still, but I suppose they couldn't get the dog to sit quite as still when they filmed it.
The
but,
dog's got a little eye patch. Just a bit of light.
The light's not on his forehead like other people.
Yeah, because he keeps sort of shifting a little bit, so it kind of moves around a little bit.
They could have just freezed the frame on the dog. You wouldn't notice.
They knew everyone's going to be watching the dog over the rest of the people, so they have to like keep him moving.
Well, I'll be honest. Yeah, I didn't look at 90% of the people anytime I've watched this, except for this show. But I just look at the dog.
It's very 60s Batman. This, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The mind control thing.
It's one of those things too. Is like you're gonna get it with any ensemble of people, but there's clearly some people are trying way harder than others when they're doing the facials. Like the guy beneath the dog, like he's really looking like ooh, like zonked out and stuff. And then there's a guy up in the guy up in the top left corner. He's really looking like whoa, spaced out as well.
Yeah, I think some of them are doing it as if it's the 60s show.
Yeah, but there's a guy next to the guy up in the top left, and he's just kind of looking like, you want me to stare at the camera? And just like, okay. hold this. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And it's just like, dude,
can I have my check?
Yeah, put a bit more effort in, you know.
And there's two girls at the like left-hand corner, and they just look like they've gone into a photo booth.
Yeah,
in like the Trafford Centre or something. And they're just having a great day shopping. They've missed the entire point of the scene.
I've paused it at second 48, and if you go to the very bottom row, the third guy, he's intense.
Oh yeah,
he's scary.
He looks like a psychic. He's a very Ed Wood. We call the guy Christo.
Yeah.
He's like, look into the gaze upon my eyes.
Looks like he charges a fortune to read your horoscope.
And yeah, down the way too, there's like this old woman who's just looking very like, This is like Joel Schumacher's mother or something. That you could be in the movie too, ma. This is just sit there and stare at the thing.
I'd fill it with friends and family. Why not?
Yeah. But at this point though, I was trying to keep it like an eagle eye because I keep seeing in the credits and stuff that there's an electronics store owner, which I guess this is the only scene I feel that features an electronics store. That apparently it's played by Bob Zamuda. And people don't know who Bob Zamuda is by name. Like you do, if you know anything about Andy Kaufman, you know Bob Zamuda. Because he was the other guy who did Tony Clifton and Man on the Moon. I mean, of course, Jim Carrey, etc., Danny DeVito and all that. Paul Giamatti's character, that's Bob Zamuda.
Yeah.
He basically was he was a comic who worked with Andy Kaufman and helped him cook up the schemes. And Andy Kaufman, he got all, because he went out and did the stuff and whatnot, he gets all the glory, but Bob Zamuda was actually the guy behind the scenes, like apparently cooking up a lot of the ideas half the time. And apparently he's even said like, oh yeah, at one point they booked Tony Clifton, who of course is Andy Kaufman's alter ego, although they always claimed that Tony Clifton actually is a person and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he said like, they booked Tony Clifton on David Letterman. And apparently the entire time Letterman thought it was Andy Kaufman in the makeup, but it was actually Bob Zamuda just sitting there doing the whole interview and stuff.
Genius.
And but apparently, unless the role was cut, I guess he would be in here somewhere, but I can't spot him. And
I can't spot him.
Yeah.
You sort of see someone like closing a door or something, don't you? I was trying to glimpse behind. It's really hard, but I feel like there might be someone closing the door to their shop, so maybe that's him.
But of course, then you get the cutting back then to the Riddler and Two-Face taking hits from the box or the little receiver thing. Of course, as people, a family, again, there's another woman with a kind of teal haircut. So this must be a big thing in the fashion of Gotham.
Yeah, it's hip, it's cool. And I like the way they're all zoned out watching it. Because, again, it's a bit prophetic, though, because it's a bit like families now sitting around on their mobile phones in the living room.
It's like, if you made Batman Forever now, it almost definitely would be some kind of Google Home things.
Yeah.
And it's got an app on your phone and all this business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a weird name. They all have weird names, don't they, these things? Like they're slightly... I can't think of an example now off the top of my head, but it won't be like quite spelt right.
Oh, yeah, they always do
like
like a misspelling deliberately.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
But I'm baffled by this family, though, because, like, so the guy just looks, at the end, I'm assuming, like, the dad or whatever, looks like a really kind of basic guy. Just a kind of crappy, side comb haircuts and just normal, boring clothes.
Yeah.
The kid in the middle is blatantly wearing some kind of wig.
I thought that was an old woman. But it's
I thought
very
it was
small,
a kid, and then I thought it was an old woman, so I couldn't decide.
and then it's too small.
It's an old soul.
But the hair and like the glasses or
It's
something,
hot.
it feels very like shrunken old lady. But I feel like they've got a child to play it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Because then there's the boy is on the chair, isn't he? The son.
Yeah,
He's
and he
sitting in the
looks
chair.
really tall,
Because
very long legs.
he could be a boy or he could be like a middle-aged man at the same time. That guy
Exactly.
in the chair.
See, they're all ageless.
Yeah. But yeah. Then the mom looks really kind of cool with his hip haircut and whatnot.
Yeah, she's
Such
got a
a
nice little
strange
haircut.
family dynamic, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their living room's pretty depressing, though. I feel like you would want to stare at the box.
Yeah. What are they getting out of staring at this box, by the way? Because
well, in their mind, if you remember,
Oh,
they're
okay.
in what they're watching.
right,
Yeah,
so
or it's
like,
coming out the TV or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it is like these AR game set things.
Yeah.
But of course, though, we had like the shorthand here of the Riddler and Two-Face taking hits from the receptor or whatever to the box. But there's a deleted scene actually that went way more into it. Kind of spelled out a bit more that the box is essentially like having a drug to these guys. And I'm kind of glad they cut it because it's like one side is apparently Sugar and Spice were featured in the background. I always want more Sugar and Spice because I think they're great characters. But
Well, Sugar and Spice, very nice.
yeah, but so it says.
More disco dollies to a life of vice.
But so apparently they're basically sitting, passing the electrode between them, like between.
That sounds like a euphemism.
But so Sugar, Spice, and Two-Face and the Riddler are all sharing the electrode, as they called. And then Two-Face says, "Sure, E equals MC squared. Until we factor in more than 3 dimensions, then, damn, hit us again." And then Riddler says, "Haven't you had enough? Don't think and drive." And then Harvey waves his revolver in Riddler's face, and Riddler says, "Oh, be my guest." Two-Face and Leather and Lace, and that they're called Leather and Lace, instead of Sugar and Spice. They take another hit of the glowing neural energy, all smiles. And Two-Face says, "Our Paleolithic yearnings are best expressed in a pre-linguistic, off the befuddled girls. Sorry, just thinking out loud." Harvey leans back, buzzed, the electrodes slipping from his hand. Leather grabs for it, not fast enough. Riddler snatches it away. And Riddler says, "Not until you do that thing I like," to Leather.
Oh, I thought you meant to Harvey.
And it says, "On si tu pour des mensonges, je gâche ma vie." And then says, "Ooh, sorry, harsh toke." Two-Face says, "Don't bogart that trode."
Trode! Share the trode, Mr. Frodo.
And then Riddler throws over the electrode to Harvey, and then Two-Face says, "Oh my god, Jim Morrison was right." And Riddler says, "About what?" And Two-Face says, "Everything." And then they both at the same time say, "Yeah." And that's just like, what? I'm sure I would have loved the scene had it been in there. But
It's quite long, though. That's quite a lot to...
Yeah, I can see why you cut it.
I feel like Leather and Lace, it would have worked if this film had been made in the 80s, but because it's a 90s movie, Sugar and Spice works a bit better.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very 80s, that, isn't it? Leather and Lace.
Haven't
Yeah,
thought about
Sugar
that.
and
Sort of
Spice
metal.
feels very much more 90s, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Spot
right,
on.
actually.
So they made the right decision changing the name.
But I do wonder, though, if, like... Well, that brought up multiple questions to me in that I wonder if it was cut because at this, late on in the production, Joel Schumacher and Val Kilmer hated each other and, like, absolutely despised each other. And as written now, it could, if it came out, it would have been, like, a nice little joke because, like, oh, Jim Morrison was right. Jim Morrison was, of course, played by Val Kilmer in the Doors movie that came out, so it would have seemed like a nice little nod to Val. And I guess maybe Joel Schumacher's like, "No, cut it out. I don't want any nods to his previous work. Get rid of it."
He'd have removed him from the movie if he could.
But I was also thinking then, like, Harvey Dent, was he a Doors fan? Or is it like, can you imagine hippie Harvey Dent hanging around, like, the dorms at Gotham University?
I get the idea he's like a straight-laced, Mr. Conservative kind of... he's very down the middle. I don't think he had wacky, wild times, even as a kid.
It's either, like, he was that, And then his roommate kept playing the Doors, and he was always like, "Oh, goddamn hippie crap! I don't want to hear it." Oh, Glenn Campbell, there's a rock star you can set your watch to. That kind of attitude. And now, with having had the box, he remembers all the Jim Morrison lyrics that his roommate used to have blaring at him, and he's like, "Oh my God, this whole time I've been wrong." Or maybe there was like an old hippie Harvey Dent back in the day. And he was all into open the doors of perception, man, and stuff like that.
Whoa!
And then he was just like, "No, you know what? I gotta buy in. I gotta get a suit. I gotta get my hair cut, and I gotta go and become a lawyer." And now this realization of like becoming a lawyer and buying in ruined Harvey Dent's life. Like he got.
Wait, you've just described the end of SLC Punk with Matthew Lillard, where he kind of stops being a punk, shaves his hair, and becomes a lawyer.
I haven't seen that film in ages. Need to rewatch it.
To be fair, it's because his best friend dies of a heroin overdose.
But maybe if Matthew Lillard had used the box, he'd be like, "Oh my God, like, friggin' Susie Sue was right," or something.
Susie Sue is right.
But it was like, "Oh my God, I should have been listening to polystyrene this whole time."
You should.
But yeah, so I genuinely. But the thing is, like, because of the muddied waters of the continuity of Two-Face, I'm thinking like back when Harvey Dent was in college, he was Billy D. Williams, I guess. I can't imagine Billy D. Williams sitting around listening to the Doors either. Like Billy D. would have been on something a lot smoother, something to draw in the ladies, no doubt. I imagine.
Bit of Hendrix.
Maybe a bit of Hendrix.
I think even more mellow.
His version of Harvey Dent seemed like a kind of guy who'd be listening to like crooners and stuff. Like he was a real slick old time kind of guy.
Yeah.
But like, who's the one that does the Otis Redding?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah. So the many questions that who would Harvey Dent listen to? I guess I'm voting like Matt Monroe and stuff like back in the day. But now he's opened up to the Doors. He's a convert, apparently.
Do that as a poll on Batminute.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to do a poll.
Who would listen to?
We are open to suggestions, and we will make a Spotify playlist.
He does say though that later on they can absorbing people's information. Is there any sort of element of their absorbing other people's taste for music, perhaps, or is it too early on in the box? Development for any of that.
I think that's got to be part of it, right? It's got to be because he does change when he uses the box in all the drafts in the final movie too. Like when he's using it, start doing things and saying things he doesn't and normally, So it's got to be a little bit of that.
That would be quite interesting if that played into the whole fact that Edward Nygma's kind of losing his own identity in a weird way because he wants to be Bruce Wayne so much, so he's literally taken on his affectations and whatnot later on in the movie. If there was something more about the box is like you're taking on other people's personality traits because you're literally sucking their mind and melding it with your own.
Exactly.
Yeah. You could have had scenes with like Two Faces acting like the Riddler or something, or like I don't know, Sugar and Spice are acting like the dog that was using the box or something.
That'd be amazing.
Maybe just looking at this weird young girl / old lady. Maybe the box thing has sucked the very life out of her, and she was a young girl, and she's just over this short period of time become this old woman,
like in The Dark Crystal.
Yeah. There you go. There's the explanation.
Or it's just Granny Chic. It's a little girl really into Granny Chic.
Yeah, that's just the whole vibe.
See, I thought it was a little boy. I thought it was like
what?
I thought it was like a little kid
exactly.
with like a Thurman Merman from Bad Santa kind of haircut or something. I didn't realize
like a 70s do.
Yeah, okay. like a random bright yellow afro that this little boy's wearing or something. I didn't realize it was supposed to be a little girl.
I don't know.
I thought little girl / old lady. So.
Well, we stand our non-binary child in the middle.
Yeah.
Non-binary, non-age child.
But yeah, so then we got the shot of the brainwaves literally pouring out the window for the box here. That's kind of the end of the minute. Do any of you guys have any other notes for this minute in particular, or?
One thing I want to say, actually going back to what you were saying about that cut scene, I did sort of make a note saying, I know they sort of say about them gaining IQ, but they don't really seem to get that much smarter, whereas that scene actually implies that they are getting smarter from it. So I think that's an interesting factor.
I'm glad you brought that up because we've talked about this multiple times. And sometimes it feels like, oh, it's just us doing it because we're the hosts. We delve too deep and too greedily. But no, thank God a guest has said it as well. Why does this movie not show them getting smarter? They never do. We need that scene. In a
They're
way.
basically the same, aren't they?
They're exactly the same.
Because they'd lose too much of what's good about those characters, I think, is what they've realised. So if they became smart, they wouldn't be funny.
We'll do a different plot.
Well, exactly. Don't say they gain IQ then. Say it's just life force or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's been poorly thought out.
Yeah. They've half-assed it a little bit there, haven't they, really?
Yeah, like in the 60s one, he's got like that zapper thing which like turns people to dust. Like, it's a lot simpler idea, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, in the movie, yeah.
They're all like the kind of kid sand that you got as a kid. You know, that like
The
you know,
coloured
when you were a
sand.
kid when you get the sand
Yeah.
art thing.
That's really kind of want to see like Lal as a studio executive in the 90s coming into Joel Schumacher, being like, "Look at this, a thing that turns you into sand. Now that's an idea." Like, this
you know,
boxing,
it's
what the hell is it?
simple.
They were really popular, though. Those little things you get, like little glass things,
Yeah.
different shapes. You put the different coloured sand in there.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You could make a Batman branded set.
It was great. And you could make like you know, a sunset scene, or you could do like a beach.
Batman don't do the beach.
And you could put it in different shaped beakers and display it in your bedroom.
Oh, great. Thrilling.
Did you not have one?
No, I did.
The other one favourite was a perfume maker. I also had one of them. 90s toys were the best.
And 90s movies were the best. Batman it forever.
But it's usually around this time of the week we always ask the guests about their history with the movie. So do either of you two have any, like, you know, pronounced history with Batman Forever? Like, were you obsessed with it back in the day, or do you barely remember it that even existed?
I watched it a lot, but I watched all the Batman films a lot, so I just like Batman.
No?
Me.
Fair enough.
See, I do remember this one the most because we did have it on video and me and my brothers would watch it a lot. So it's probably the defining one for me, as in the one that sticks out. I don't think I'd really seen the Tim Burton ones as a kid.
Disgraceful.
Which I know, it is awful, but we had this one on video, but I think it was just because that's the sort of time when I grew up and it was a popular film that was out.
To be fair as well, yeah, you would have been around like 9, 10 or whatever, so it was just the age for you to really start paying attention, wasn't it, I suppose, when this came out.
Definitely.
But I do feel like I paid a lot of attention to this one, but I definitely have watched the other ones already. And I did watch them all a lot. But I watched a lot of films a lot as a child. I don't know how I found the time.
No, it's baffling, isn't it? And would you do the same thing I did, where you'd watch the same movie, like, once it had finished, the credits rolled, rewind it and put it back on?
Yeah.
When you're a child, you don't have to worry about things, though. You don't have a job, so, you know, there is time.
Yeah, but there was school, wasn't there? You know, like
That's a job.
I really don't know how I felt, and I was reading books as well, and like playing outside. What the hell?
And then I did have my job as a chimney sweep, so yeah.
I think I had a time turner, you know.
By the way, John, we're still on for tomorrow 10, right? You're coming around to clean the chimney. That's
yeah,
I guess.
that's all good. I'm a bit big now, but I can manage.
Get your ass up the chimney, you goddamn lazy.
If I just dislocate both of my shoulders, I think I can squeeze up.
You'd be like Bishop at the end of Aliens, making his way through to the...
Oh my god, yes. I was picturing more like Tombs from the X-Files.
But anyway, shall I now reveal the answer to the riddle? Although I know, Claire, between episodes, you feel you might have the answer to this riddle now.
I'm pretty confident that I got it.
Yeah.
I haven't got anywhere. So, Lol,
No,
have you?
neither have I.
Can you repeat the riddle before, and then I'll give the answer, just so that I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Dramatic effect.
Yeah.
So, riddle me this. What is greater than God, more evil than the devil? The poor have it, the rich need it, and if you eat it, you'll die.
Do I just say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So the answer is nothing.
That's correct. That is 100%
God damn it.
It just
Yet
clicked. I
again.
was like, I know there's something in there. There we go. I started getting it by the if you eat it, you'll die. I was like, starvation. There's something there. I was like, that's nothing.
Now
That's
that victory exempts you from our coin toss, because at the end of the week we toss a coin, a la Two-Face, to decide if the guest should live or die.
Oh, so you're going to decide if I live
So,
or die?
Lol, you have to face the coin.
Great.
For your survival, heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads it is. Let's see. It's tails.
Oh.
So I am going to have to drag Lol off and kill her.
Looking forward to
You're
next
fine,
week with John featuring like Batman's new PA, like Clive or something. Just-
Well, if Chris O'Donnell's listening, can you go back to that room? Because I might be in there with the them wives.
I'm going to have to do it in a fitting manner as well. I'm going to have to just drain everything from your brain. So the only way I know how to do that is with a cerebral bore.
Okay.
I'm still hoping like later on in the season though, like every time John asks for a drink or something, he just like we're talking about something else and you just get like, "Damn it, Clive!" Just like the wrong thing's been brought to you again. Like this never would have happened under Lal's ship.
So now, well, it's gonna have to happen. I'm sorry, Lol. It's been good.
Okay, I'll get my coat. I'm off.
So while I go and commit this nefarious deed, do come and chat to us on Facebook at the Bat Minute Listeners Cave. Send us a tweet at BatMinute. Come to our website, thebatminute.com. It's quite cool, I think, even though it's made by the podcast host website. I didn't make it. It's bare bones in the best possible way. Everything where you need it, baby. And review us on iTunes. That's very, very helpful. Subscribe on Patreon. I'm going to stop plugging stuff now because it's annoying when podcasts do that, isn't it? But in the meantime, we will be out of here. We will see you next week with, we'll have a new guest. And sadly, Lol will never be returning. But see you then.
Next time, Emerald IQ's in a hellish HQ. The kernel of cryptograms siphons the public's perspicacity with a tide of brainwaves swirling over the city. But while he prepares to harvest these couch potatoes like a parasite in his parlour, which acrobat adolescent is primed for some hardcore parkour? Find out next week. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Ba-da-da.